Hello, my name is Vishal. Let's see the transform tools in the Blender software. Transform tools are basically used to move the object, rotate the object, and scale the object. So moving object is also called as translation. So what I do is I'll use this tool here, which is basically a move tool. I can select the object and you could see the object has got a manipulator now, and I got three colors here. Red color is a arrow in which I can generally drag and move the object in x-axis, and if I drag that into the opposite side it will be on negative x-axis. And I got the green color, which is positive y and negative y, positive z and negative z. You can also move the object only on two axes at a time, which is x and y, by holding this blue color. And basically I'm moving this on a coplanar axis, I could say, y and z and x and z. Okay, so alternately you can use shift space, and then you can select the tool here. Okay, so when I press shift space you could see the list of tools popping up, and I can choose move tool. We have shortcuts for this, but again when we are using the shortcut we may not get the manipulator type of transforming. So I need to press G on the keyboard, and then I got a cursor and I can just drag and then move the object freely. Whereas when I press G and press X, I can move the object only in the x-axis like that. When I press G and Y, I can move the object in y-axis only. So it's locked in that particular axis. G, Z, then the object moves in that particular direction. So apart from that, I can just press G, X, and I can enter 10. Then the object moves 10 units from the origin there. I need to press G, X, 10.5, then it moves 10.5 units. Okay, when I press G, 10, tab 10, tab 5, then it has taken the numbers in x-axis, y-axis and the z-axis. I'll show you once again. Press G, I need to enter a value which is basically right now 6. It goes in the x-axis. Then press tab 7, then it takes the value of 7 in y. Tab 8, it takes the value of 8 in the z-axis. You could see that here. So when if I hit backspace, it goes back to the previous place. Let's say press G and then X, then press 10. Then if I hit backspace, it goes back to the original position like that. Okay, so if I press G, X and hit backslash or asterisk and then enter a value of 5, so what it will do is it will, I'll just do it once again. G, just a minute, here it's a value of 1, I'll make it to 0. Press G, X asterisk 5. So what it has done is 1 divided by 5, which is 0.2. It has taken that value. So you can take the decimal numbers, you can take the 1 divided value, which is basically, let's say, G, X asterisk, if I say 20, it divides that one value by 20, which is 0.05. So apart from that, I can press G, which is move tool. X is the axis. I can enter minus, then 10. It takes minus 10 value. So numerically, you are able to enter this number, which makes your life a little bit easier comparatively. And also, it is very unique way of transforming objects in Blender software. So let's say if I have to move this in a precise number, then I can select the object and then go to the X value, put a value of 10, it moves to the value of 10. And if I generally have different numbers here in the, so I need to just select that and put the cursor there and hit backspace. All the values becomes resetted, or it will go back to the 0. So move tool is generally used either from this tool where you get the manipulator, or I can press shift space, or you can choose the tool from here. I can also use G and then manipulate. So these are all different options how you can use the move tool. The next tool is the rotation tool. I can select the rotation tool and then rotate the object. If I'm selecting the red circle, it is rotating in the x-axis, green is y, blue is z, and you got a white color ball which is basically rotating the object, which is the axis perpendicular to the camera view. And then if I click out on the ball, I can just drag it around the ball like that. It's again free axis. So these are all how you can rotate the object, and you could generally do it from the properties here. If not, I can press R on the keyboard and I can rotate freely. And if I press R and then X, it will rotate only in the x-axis. Okay. And if I press R, X and then plus 45, it rotates 45 degrees. So it's the same thing how you worked for the translation, but instead of GX you need to press RX then 57, which takes 57 degrees of the rotation value. If I press R and then Y, then 45 degrees, it rotates the same way in the Y axis. So I can generally use the numerics, or I can just press R and then Z, it will rotate in the Z axis like that. So it's a great way to move objects around. And S is a scale tool where you can scale the objects. If not, you can use the tool from here, which is again a traditional way of scaling the objects. You have the circular object which scales the object proportionally, and you can also scale only in 2 axes here with this manipulator. Alternately, I could say S, then I press 2, it will scale the double time. S, X, 2, so it only scales in the X axis. So these are how you can generally or the ways you can generally transform your object. I'm just putting here cursor and put backspace, and now you could see it didn't go to the value 0, it went to the value of 1 there. So transforming tools are quite important and basic options which you got in the Blender software.